Well, hey everybody, welcome to week 8 of Tribe. Last week we finished looking at our 4 marks of a disciple. Hope that was encouraging and hope that was helpful for you. In these next couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at the rest of our core values as a church. Now we've talked about these throughout this semester, mainly during our worship services, but these are statements that guide what we hold most important collectively and individually as a part of Church of the Oak. So having value statements like this, it helps us remember what is important. It also helps us remember what's not important. So it kind of guides how you are a part of this and what this church is supposed to be like and value. All right. And so far we've covered 4 of these things. We've covered the first one was that we are a church, we're a people centered on the gospel. That's our first and foremost priority. That's what that's our starting point, that we are centered on the gospel. Everything that we do as a church, everything we do individually, we want to be a people who are centered on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Second, we talked about how we want to be people who are becoming more like Christ. That in everything we're doing, whether that's individually or collectively, we're a people that are moving towards Him. That we're not stationary, we're not stagnant, that we're actively and always becoming more and more like the person of Jesus Christ. The third one, we said we value the next generation. That the next generation is important to us. We believe the next generation. We don't think the next generation needs to be babysat or sidelined for a while. We believe in the potential that God has given those generations that are coming behind me, come behind you. All right, and the last one we talked about was that we do this together. Whatever we're striving at doing as a church, which is essentially sending disciple makers of Jesus by being disciple makers of Jesus, trying to accomplish the Great Commission, we're going to do that together. We're not going to have a couple of people like me or whoever that are kind of like set apart and they're going to do all the work and everybody else gets to sit and watch. We're going to do this work that God has given us together. And so this week, we're going to talk about the 5th one. That's that we give our best. That's our 5th value as a church, that we're people, we're a church, that we are giving our best. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I don't always give my best in everything. Like in high school and in college, I lived by what I call the effort to grade ratio, which means that you do the minimal amount of work possible to get the grade that you want to get, right? And that's a great way to handle English 101. It's not a great way to follow Jesus, all right? And so in light of the gospel, in light of the mission that God has given us, Christians, we're called to lay down our lives for those around us. We're called to lay down our lives, to leverage our lives. Everything that we have, everything that God has given us, we're called to leverage that faithfully for the kingdom. Not in a superficial or light way, but in every way. Faithfully leveraging our lives for the kingdom. So Christians, we're called to faithfully use whatever it is that God has given us, whether it's our time, our talent, our resources for the kingdom. And so this week we're going to be looking at one of Jesus' parables coming out of Matthew chapter 25, where he discusses exactly that. So I'm hoping that you're going to dig deep into this. I hope you'll let this passage work on you and your heart, and I hope you have an incredible group.